Welcome back to another episode of Philosophy in Music, episode 3. So if you tuned in last week, you know that last week we spoke about your gifts, right? In the first episode we spoke about your identity crisis, and how to actually figure out what your identity is and kind of actually get to the purpose of your identity and what you're meant to do in this world, right? As a human being, I believe that we all have a purpose in this earth, and that purpose is actually tied into 3 things that I believe are so crucial for everyone to know, which are your gifts, your talents, and your skills, right? So your gifts are the thing that you're meant to give to the world. If you didn't watch last week's video on gifts, then I advise you to go back and watch that video. And if you are tuning in today, we're going to be talking about talents, right? So what is your talent? What are talents, right? So if you think about talents in the way that we speak of, when we're speaking in general, I think most people talk about talents and go, this person's a talented artist, they're a talented guitarist, they're a talented singer. You know, I think actually talents aren't exactly that. Talents, I think, are more in line with the ability to learn something really quickly, right? So again, if you remember what we spoke about with the gift is a thing that you're meant to give to the world. That's something that comes really naturally to you as an individual, and that's also something that you would find fulfilling to do in life, whether you were getting paid or not, right? So the gift is something that other people benefit from. So if the gift is something that other people benefit from you doing, then the talent is something that you benefit from having, which actually allows you to fulfill that gift, right? So I'll say that again. The gift is something that you give other people, which makes other people feel fulfilled. The talent is actually something that you have that benefits yourself to fulfill your gift. Let me give you a little bit of an example here. So let's say, for example, if my gift is in teaching, then maybe my talent would be in speaking, right? Or if my gift is in leading, then maybe my talent would be in speaking, right? That I can just stand up and just find the right words to say to people and to really inspire people to take action and to do the right thing. Now here's another example. Have you ever known someone that's just been so good at sports? Like anytime they could pick up a racket or, pick up a ball and they can just catch it and throw it or kick it, and they just know how to move their body in the right way. That person there has something that's called kinesthetic intelligence, right? In other words, they understand how to move their body in such a way that it becomes almost natural to them, right? So here's the thing. If you ever met someone who's just been good at dancing, like maybe they don't listen to a certain genre of music, they've never heard it before, but they hear it for the first time, and all of a sudden they can just move their bodies in a certain way. Maybe they're taking a salsa class, maybe they're learning how to break dance or something, and they just kind of pick it up so quickly, like so naturally. And people ask them, hey, have you ever done this before? And they're like, no, I don't. I just kind of listen to the music and I just feel it and I can move my body, right? Now, again, kinesthetic intelligence is actually their talent, right? If their gift is actually within maybe competing, then they could compete within any genre, right? So they could compete in sports maybe, or maybe they can compete in dance maybe, or maybe they can compete in any arena that has to do with their body. Their talent to use their body and to use their kinesthetic intelligence, right, to move around would actually allow them to compete in any arena that involves using their body, and they would be successful in whatever they choose. And remember, if your gift is serving other people, that means that that person, in whatever they do, right, they can compete. Maybe they can be a soldier, maybe they can be a firefighter. They just have a certain way of just moving their body in such an efficient and possibly even a graceful way that allows them to do things that maybe other people couldn't do with twice as much practice. So there's that element as well. Let's give another example of what a talent could be. Let's say maybe someone is able to see something and they can just draw it out, and they just have a knack of just, I've seen that one time and I can just draw it exactly as it looks. I see something and maybe I can just create a visual representation of that image and go, yeah, this is what I saw, and it looks almost exactly like the thing that they just saw. What that person has is a visual intelligence, right? They have a visual creative intelligence where when they see something, they can just draw it out. So sometimes we can think of people who are builders, and I'd say a gift would be something like a builder, right? Someone that can just pick up a piece of paper and start to scribble and draw and go, okay, we need this building to be structured this way and that way. We need this plank to be here. There needs to be a middle beam here. It needs to look like this. And then they can take that piece of paper and then create an actual building. And so that person's gift is to build, but they have a talent in being able to actually visualize put that vision, put it down on a piece of paper, and then give that to someone else so that they can actually fulfill that vision. That is actually a talent, right? Now, I believe that when it comes to gifts, that you don't have that many gifts. Simply put, we live in a world full of billions of people, and in your community, you're going to be interacting with hundreds of people. Now, I don't believe that you as a community need one person to have 5 gifts, right? You just can't do that much, but you might have 1 or 2 gifts. In other words, if your gift is in competing, you might have also the gift of leadership, right? So you might have the gift of actually being able to compete, having the drive and the determination to do something, and then you also have the gift of leadership, right? Or you might have some people who have the gift of competing, but they don't really want to be a leader. Or you might have someone who has the gift of leading, but they don't actually have that much kinesthetic intelligence, right? So you have those sports players who are good speakers, good orators, good motivators, they work very hard, but you can tell that they're not very graceful in how they play the sport, right? That's someone who has the gift of actual leadership, but they're not a natural sports person. And now if you take that same person who's a good captain in the football team, in the rugby team, or in the cricket team, and you put them in a position where they're at work, you would find that that same person would be a great leader, using their gift of leadership to actually be able to fulfill that role at a deeper level. But let's come back to talents. My personal belief is that people don't have more than 1 or 2 gifts, maybe 3 at a stretch. But I think that sometimes we confuse talents with gifts, right? You can have many talents to help you fulfill one gift, but you ultimately have like 1 or 2 gifts. I'll give you another example. So let's say someone has the gift of performing, right? They like to be in front of the stage and they bring joy into people's lives by performing and acting, and they really find that that is the thing that they want to do more than anything. That person probably has other talents. They might have the talent to actually speak very well. They might have the talent to read very well. They might have the talent to sing very well. And they might have the talent to actually move kinesthetically very well as well. So they might be multi-talented in order to help them fulfill that gift. So let's really drill down into what the talent is about and what the talent is supposed to do. The talent is actually the thing that's supposed to help you fulfill your gift. Now, if you remember that pyramid that I spoke about, if the gift is at the base, right, and then the talent is in the middle, what is the purpose of the talent? Well, the talent is first of all supposed to help you to actually fulfill that gift, right? But the talent is also supposed to help you develop the skills. So now if you're moving forward from just understanding, let's say for example a performer, someone who plays music or whose gift is to perform and to act, if the talent is to read, if the talent is to speak, or maybe even to sing, or maybe even to dance, right, now they can then choose of one of those things. Am I going to be a creative writer? Or am I going to be a dancer? Or am I going to be a speaker? Or am I going to be a singer? They have all these talents. But the truth is, in order to be truly successful, that they have to pick from all these talents which might help them, that they might have to choose maybe of one of these 4 skills to pick one thing that they're going to be super proficient at. If their gift is performing, that brings joy to other people, that's their gift, then they should pick from these 4 talents. That's reading, maybe singing, maybe speaking, maybe dancing. And when this person then focuses on one thing and goes, okay, cool, I want to focus on being a good dancer. And this is a thing that becomes the skill that they become super proficient at. Or maybe they say, you know what, I enjoy all these things, but of all the things that I enjoy singing, right? And the singing is what really I'm going to work on so that that becomes a skill that leads down to the gift. So that person will then use their singing ability to actually go, I'm going to focus more on my singing. And I'm going to focus on this singing, the skill of singing, so that I can use my other talents of writing, of speaking, and maybe even dancing a little bit as well to actually fulfill my gift to perform. So you see how that works? So that person can choose from their 4 talents and go, I can use any of these 4 talents to actually get to one skill that I want to become super successful at. Now, here's what I encourage you to do. I encourage you to not diversify yourself too much, and I've been guilty of this myself, where I thought, you know what, if my gift is to teach, if my gift is to, is to help and to educate and even coach, how can I use my ability to, or my talent to be creative, and my talent to be visually creative, and my talent to sing, how can I use that in a way which actually makes me become successful? And the challenge that you have within defining which skill you're going to pick, it might take you a couple of goals to actually figure this out, like it did myself, that you would have to actually go and say, okay, I'm going to actually develop that skill. I'm going to focus on the dancing and see if I can become super successful at doing that. And maybe you might go down that route. And then figure out after some time that, you know what, dancing, as much as I enjoy dancing, it actually doesn't pay that much money. Or as much as I enjoy dancing, in this particular environment that I'm at, it doesn't actually take me as far as maybe I'd like to go. Or you might find that maybe you might even be singing. And as you're singing, you might do one video, one performance where you dance a little bit. Somebody notices you and goes, hey, you know what, I really like your performance. Can we have you just performing, but we want you to just, instead of dancing, we want you to just sing. And then you go, okay, well, maybe instead of doing the whole dancing routine, I should just maybe leave that because that's not very rewarding, and I should just focus on the singing. So then you take your talents and you shift from one skill to the other. The point of this is that through this path of self-discovery, that you should never really truly depart from who you truly are. And once you understand what your talents are meant for, that you can feel free to play around in the same sort of area without departing too much from being your authentic self, while actually kind of discovering what really rewards you. Where really would it feel like for you would be the best area that would reward you? And that can be anything. That can be rewarding you financially, it can be rewarding you from a person-to-person connection. Maybe you feel it's more rewarding just from a social, environmental, maybe from a status level. In whichever way that you want to be rewarding for you, you can define that. And that in the end is actually your decision to make as to what skill you're going to be proficient at. So again, remember, the gift is a thing that you give to other people that they feel fulfilled through you fulfilling that gift. The talents in the middle there are the thing that actually supposed to help you to bring that gift to fruition. And the talent is also the thing, those things that will actually help you to develop skills in line with those talents that will help you fulfill those gifts. So I hope you found that helpful and useful. And if you're thinking about what your talents are and what your gifts are, I'd love to hear what those talents are. Put them down in the comment section and we can start a conversation around that. Now, as always, as everything that we do within philosophy and music and spirituality, we always connect everything back to the music, right? So maybe you're a musician, you're a singer, maybe you're a songwriter, maybe you're an engineer, maybe you're a producer, maybe you do all these things, right? You have all these talents. You know that your gift is to be creative. You know that, right? And again, if you remember what I said about your gift is something that not only you think you're good at, but it's something that other people tell you you're good at as well. And the same goes for talents. Talents cannot be something that you just pluck out there and go, this is my talent because I believe it's my talent, it's what I want to do. It's more than just what you want to do. It's what other people must also recognize that you are good at, right? And that's just very easy to see, because if you put yourself out there, whether you're mixing music, whether you're making a song, whether you're singing, you're songwriting, people will actually remark it and go, hey, that's actually pretty good. You got a knack for this kind of stuff. And if that's your talent, then the challenge is to then kind of discover or to then refine those talents and then pick from any one of these talents. Maybe you're very good visually. You're very good at like making videos, making artwork, and you're also good at singing, and you're actually good at producing as well. You're actually good at mixing and engineering. And you want to pick between each of these, maybe 4 or 5 different things. Where should you actually go? Which route would actually be more fulfilling for you? Now, here's the truth of the matter. Sometimes you just don't know until you go into it, until you actually start doing the thing that you think you might be good at, and then you will see whether this thing is really meant for you. Now, here's where I have a bit of good news for you. If you understand your gifts and you understand the talents that you have and you really have a good grasp of your talents, I believe that you could be successful performing any task that is in line with your gifts and your talents, right? The only thing you have to do is make sure that you pick the right skill that allows you to express that gift and that allows you to use your talents, right, in the right way. So if you're a singer, songwriter, producer, musician, mixing and engineering, and you might have gone through this phase where you were thinking, I'm not sure which one I want to be. I'm not sure which one I actually want to do. Which one should I pick actually? Now, you might not know this until you actually go into each one of these things and actually try to start doing each one of these things. And maybe sometimes this is the only way that you can really discover which one of your talents you're going to focus on and become the main skill that actually you become proficient, that you become good at, that you become an expert in. So dive into those things, play around in that area and find out which area you'd like to develop into a more refined skill. So I'm going to leave that on there, and we're going to talk next week about your skills and what skills look like and how you can use your skills in line with your talents and your gifts to fulfill your greatest thing, which is your purpose, and find your identity in this world. Now, if you're a musician, a singer, songwriter, producer, I invite you to check out 7thcentury.co.uk. We've got a learning hub which is free for all our artists there. It's got 15 videos 15 lessons essentially, where we'll teach you some of these principles that I'm talking about relating to nurturing your gifts, relating to nurturing your talents, and even asking you the question as to what you're doing right now. Is that the thing that you really want to do, or should you be doing something else maybe, right? That's something that we can actually get into. I actually invite you to join our private community as well, where we can talk about these things more in depth. And if that's you, you're an artist and you want to figure out how to distribute your music, right? How to market your music and how to, most importantly, monetize your music, that might be something you might want to do. You might not want to make money from it, but if you do, then we can actually talk about that as well and actually help you to get there, right? And that all starts with like learning about your gifts and your talents and your skills. That's why I thought it was so important to start with these things, because once you understand these things, you will find that you will peak a niche and a skill using your talents that is more authentic to you as an artist, all right? And that's the most important thing. Like me doing these videos with you guys is super authentic for me. I don't have a script here, I'm not reading anything, and so I could do this forever, and I have to stop myself from actually doing it because I could literally go forever just speaking to you guys. So as always, I love you guys and thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. If you do like this, video, then I ask you to subscribe, like, and of course share if you think that this might help someone else start their conversation about what their talents are. Think about it a little bit more, and I'd love to hear what you guys think as well on this video. It lets me know that I'm talking about something that you care about and maybe something that's of interest to you. So let's chat. Go to 7thcentury.co.uk if you're an artist, producer, singer, songwriter. If you want to figure out those things, sign up for the Learning Hub, which is right down in the link in this description here, and I look forward to seeing you in the private community as well. Thanks very much for tuning in again. I will see you in a week's time. Love as always. Take care and goodbye.